The fear of making choices is one of the most subtle and painful states of the human soul. It rarely announces itself out loud. We don't usually say, "I'm afraid to choose." Instead, we postpone decisions, invent reasons to wait, create the illusion of preparation. We read, we analyze, we ask for advice, we look for signs from the universe. But in truth, we stand still, because deep down, we're terrified of taking a step and losing the endless possibilities that exist only until a choice is made. We live in an era of too many options. The world offers us hundreds of paths, careers, lifestyles, and that abundance is not freedom, it's overload. When everything is possible, nothing feels real. We fear choosing because we know that with every decision, we are also killing all the other potential versions of our future. And so we cling to the fantasy of the perfect future, where everything would somehow turn out better, if only we knew how to get there. But the truth is, that perfect future doesn't exist. It's a projection born from our fear of making mistakes. We fear choice because every choice demands responsibility. It forces us to grow up. As long as we haven't chosen, we can still blame others, circumstances, parents, fate, society. But once we make a choice, we stand alone with the consequences. And that's frightening. Not because of what might go wrong, but because it reveals our own authorship. Making a choice means admitting, my life depends on me. But this is what maturity really is. Understanding that no one will hand you a guaranteed script. No one will tell you which road is right. And paradoxically, the moment you stop waiting for the perfect choice, life starts to move. Because life doesn't grow from analysis, it grows from movement. We all want to know what will happen after we choose. We want to calculate, to see the outcome, to avoid pain. But life doesn't work that way. It never reveals its endings until you enter the story. It's like swimming in a river. You'll never know where it flows until you let go of the shore. To stop being afraid of choosing, you must stop demanding the impossible, infallibility. Mistakes aren't failures of the system, they are the system. They are the way you learn who you are. Without the right to make mistakes, there is no right to live. If you want a real, living life instead of a flawless project, you have to grant yourself the freedom to be imperfect. Not just to permit mistakes, but to understand that they are part of your becoming, not evidence of your inadequacy. We tend to think of choice as a single, decisive moment after which everything changes. But that's not true. Choice isn't a point in time. It's a process. We choose constantly, even when we think we're doing nothing. Not choosing is also a form of choice, the choice to remain where we are. So the real question is not whether to choose, but whether to do it consciously. At some point, you have to accept that there is no perfect option. Every path will bring both joy and loss. Whatever you choose, you'll have to let go of something. But that's what makes life beautiful. It demands courage to release. As long as you're holding on to every possible path, you'll never walk any of them. To choose means to let go of expectations, of fear of disappointing others, of the fantasy of a right life. No one else knows what's right for you. Not even you. Not until you take a step. Clarity doesn't precede action, it follows it. Many people spend years waiting for the moment when everything will finally make sense. They say, once I'm sure, I'll decide. But certainty never comes before action. It's born through it. Like a lantern that lights only the next few feet of the road, not the whole path. To see more, you have to move forward. Letting go of the fear of choice means accepting that you will never have full clarity. It's the art of living with probability, not guarantees. To realize that no path will protect you from pain, but every path can offer you meaning. When you begin to treat life as a journey, not an exam, choice stops being a threat. It becomes an act of trust in yourself, in life, in the process. Often, the fear of choice is really the fear of losing control. We want to believe that we can plan everything, that things will go according to our script. But control is an illusion. Life always finds its own flow. And when you accept that, a new kind of peace appears, the peace of no longer needing to hold everything together, of learning instead to move with the current. So what can you do when the fear remains? Start with small choices. Practice choosing in small, everyday things. Each small decision strengthens your inner muscle of trust. The goal isn't to make big, bold moves, it's to make any move, consciously. Fear loses power when you're in motion. And remember, you don't have to know where your choice will lead. That's not your job. Your job is to be honest with yourself right now. Choose from the truth of this moment, not the fantasy of a future you can't predict. That's what mindfulness really is. Not a technique, but a way of being present enough to choose what feels authentic now. At some point, you realize that choice isn't about destiny, it's about maturity. It's not about finding the right road, it's about having the courage to walk any road at all. Life responds to movement. It favors those who participate, who act, who decide. Because movement itself is a form of trust, and trust is the opposite of fear. When you stop waiting for certainty and start choosing, life becomes lighter. Not because choices get easier, but because you release the expectation of perfection. You begin to see that any path can be meaningful if you live it fully. Choice is life in motion. Every time you decide, you declare, I'm here. I exist. Maybe there's no such thing as the right choice. There's only the chosen life. The one you decide to live, not flawlessly, but genuinely. And in that moment, when you stop waiting, stop comparing, stop fearing, something shifts. You begin to feel free. Because freedom isn't the absence of limits, it's the acceptance of responsibility. And maybe that's the real secret. Choosing isn't frightening. What's truly frightening is not choosing. Because in avoiding decisions, you risk losing the one thing that's truly yours, your life.